Superpowers and Conferences. The superpowers during the Cold War were Britain, USA, and the USSR. Roosevelt was the President of the United States until his death in 1945, and then Truman took over from then. Churchill was the British Prime Minister between 1940 to 1945, and then again in 1951 to 55. And Stalin was the leader of the USSR from 1929 to 1953, and was a dictator who ruled with totalitarian control. Despite the differences between the capitalist, democratic leaders in the West and the communist dictator in the East, the leaders joined together as the Allied powers to defeat Germany in World War II. Roosevelt, Churchill, and Stalin met at the Tehran Conference in December 1943 to decide that the war had to end in the unconditional surrender of Germany. This showed cooperation between the leaders and set a precedent for future conferences. The three leaders met again at the Yalta Conference in February 1945 and decided to divide Germany into 4 occupation zones, with each one controlled by the USA, USSR, Britain, and France. The leaders also agreed to the Declaration on Liberated Europe to ensure all countries liberated from the Nazis would hold free, democratic elections. The Allies also agreed to set up the United Nations, an international organization for cooperation and peace. Britain, the USA, and the USSR met again at the Potsdam Conference in July 1945 and agreed to demilitarize Germany, appeal Nazi laws, and conduct trials for Nazi war criminals. However, Potsdam was the final time that the leaders of the USA, USSR, and Great Britain would meet to discuss diplomatic cooperation.